Jolan, true Centurions, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates Postmod. I am Fleet Admiral Tirk of the battleship RAS Calum as we continue our campaign against the United Federation of Planets. And last time we had a bit of an unfortunate crash right at the end of the episode. Apparently the game does not like it when you capture an enemy ship and then have your primary ship destroyed. It tends to not quite understand what the heck's going on. Not that I can blame it too much, but it was still frustrating because it did mean that the events of last episode didn't quite all happen. Sadly, we have had to go back to the autosave, which brings us here. I'm not quite sure where here is, but we will find out. And I've just noticed that somehow we have captured the sector of 2711, and I find that to be hilarious. Anyway, let us continue with the siege of the Fortress of 1810, and pop off and pop right back on to cause as much damage as we can, or we can, go on a patrol mission. Because I don't feel like doing an asteroid base assault is the first thing that we actually do. Maybe the second thing, but not the first. In a random patrol mission, there is a disabled vessel that we have recently found, and it does appear to be Romulan. Is that one of our Hawks? Might be. Actually, no, it's not, because the Hawks are heavy cruisers. It's an FSP. Not quite sure what that is, and to be 100% frank, it doesn't really matter. Plasma torpedoes set up to the enveloping mode and pick up a little bit more speed, as whoever we're going to run into, well, we want to make sure that they have a very bad day. So, we're not going to set up any of the other systems just yet. We're going to wait for our phase capacitor to finish charging up. That way we have the free power that we need. Although we are only running into a light cruiser, which is an HDW-1X, so it is a heavy war destroyer. Yeah, this mission was over before it even began. Hi, do you have anything that I need to steal? You do have medical supplies, so we did come out here to recapture some medical supplies that we desperately need on some front that we are apparently losing on, possibly. Stolen, thank you. Focus on you, slow down speed to normal so that we can make sure that we set this up. ECCM systems up to 4 points of energy, and you know what? All of them. Just fire all of them. I do anticipate he will stop, and there is his stop indeed. Unfortunately, we're not in a great position to come back at him. We waited too long to actually do this, and so, yeah, this will be interesting. Our defensive systems have engaged and destroyed the little tiny enemy fighter group, and we don't have a proper angle that'll bring our R-type plasma torpedoes on, but we will steadily fire them. Should have fired the stern firing plasma torpedo while we still had a chance. Too late now. Let's steadily come around. Yep, there go the R's, and that'll probably end him. Let's follow up with every single weapon we have in our arsenal. Wait for the big hits. Try and add in more, and will these plasma torpedoes do it? Will they be able to overpower him? Yes. Yes, they will. So not only did we grab back the medical supplies, we also took out the enemy destroyer before they had a chance to destroy our ship. However, it is now time to make sure that we keep our technology out of Federation hands, and we shall destroy the ship. Unfortunately, we don't have any weapons to destroy the ship with. We do have a stern-firing plasma torpedo that'll come on that we can bring around for this, but the forward phaser's just not active as of yet. So stern-firing plasma torpedo, give me a shot on it. There it is. And blast it away. All other weapons select. Didn't even need to do it. The self-destruct, the captain, knowing his duty, did everything by the book and properly, and thus we did not have to expend the ammunition, except we did. Not that it's actually ammunition. It's free power, because in the future, power is free apparently. 136 plus the 90 for 226, and a neutral tile for whatever that's worth to you, and a shipyard assault. They want to keep us on our toes, keep us going with the siege work, the big heavy attacking stuff, which is kind of what we're designed to do. Especially against dreadnoughts. Apparently we are being escorted by the Romai Palma, which is armed with 2 G-type plasma torpedoes and 5 phaser X's, which is actually not all that bad. Make sure that our plasma torpedoes are set to enveloping. We are squaring off against a BBV, which is a very dangerous thing for us to fight specifically. The BBVs are, of course, very powerful ships, but the dangerous part is the fighters. Because while we can basically crunch down a primary target and avoid them for the most part, those fighters coming in from all angles, they're just a nightmare to have to deal with. So not seeing any other enemies as of yet, but they may still show up. Let's make sure that we sort out our electronic warfare systems, and then also our shield defenses, so that we're completely ready to rock. I'm still not seeing any other vessels. Hopefully that means there won't be any, although I can't speak to that for sure. Over here, 21.8 points of energy, that's fine. We'll increase the speed of time. Still not seeing, yeah. By now, if we're not seeing it, they're not coming. So it's just us versus the Dreadnought. Oh no, for some reason one of our plasma arc torpedoes is way backloaded. So that's a problem. Actually, why would that happen? Why is it only at 50% charge? That's actually really frustrating, because that's going to mean an entire R-type plasma torpedo is not going to be ready to shoot by the time we actually, you know, get to have the shot. He did dump a wild weasel because he's a fool. And, no, seriously, he is a fool for that. I mean, the fact of the matter is that he has more than enough energy to be able to tank that. And so the fact that the AI just dumps for a single R-type plasma torpedo when it's a battleship is kind of stupid. Let's slow down and go into cloak. And hopefully that R-type plasma torpedo will finish charging. We're just going to wait for these guys to pass over top of us, then we'll decloak, blast everything we've got into them. Slow down a bit more. Come on, I want that. Okay, that's all of them, I think. All plasma torpedoes are selected. The last R-type plasma torpedo is about to come online. There it is. And our defensive systems have immediately begun to engage. Shoot all the phasers at all the things. Oh, that's a singleton. There we go. A whole bunch of good shots there. And we can't cloak at this range. He will dump his missiles. It will be bad. Well, he already did dump his missiles. Point defense system engaged. There we go. Picking him up. He still has a forward shield. That actually is very surprising to me. He also still has fighters in pretty decent numbers. Dumping a mine on top of his own fighters, though, that's not super clever, although he did manage to take that. We're going to hurt ourselves a little bit to do that, and keep the anti-missile defense system going. That's a lot of mines. Cloak, and drop in speed. We're going to Star Castle just a little bit, see if we can't pop away from these mines before they kill us, and we're down to speed. Okay, excellent. So we don't have much in terms of control in this engagement right now, but we are going to be able to get out of here without too much trouble. Let's keep patching things up. We are down 8 points of energy, as well as a whole bunch of phasers. Would like to decloak and slam into these ones. Let's see if we can get the angle on it. Forward phasers are mostly ready to rock, so wait for him to shoot. And come on a cloak. And then shoot everything you've got. Phasers. That'll do too. Okay, so we have taken out his fighter group. He still has one more that he took back. Let's increase the speed of the ship and start to come around their mines. Switch up the reinforcement. I want starboard side reinforcement only. We don't need the forward reinforcement going right now because we're not facing them. I would like to somehow change this turnover to the other side, but the main way that we would do that is exposing our stern shield. Luckily, the Explorer, which not exactly a name that I would normally attribute to a dreadnought, but the Explorer is not giving us that opportunity. He is coming in right for us. And we can now shoot our own plasma torpedoes out the starboard side. And he will crash stop, but he did have the time for that. So we're going to loop in front of him. Our port side weapons are ready to go. I really want to get this turn going, but I'm really worried about not being able to finish the turn. Wait for these forward firing phasers to shoot. Now we're actually getting a pretty decent amount of energy from this into this forward shield. Phasers are ready to go. I don't want to shoot into that shield though. Okay, we were able to split it a little bit, so we are managing to do quite a bit of damage to him. 29 points of energy is not huge, but it's also not anything to sneer at. And he's about to have a whole bunch of photon torpedoes ready to go. So we're going to need a cloak in shortly. Now, go into cloak. We'll use this cloak to switch the turn. Alright, that's his photon torpedoes fired, and most of his phasers are currently offline. And his engines are not in a good way. Almost able to come out of cloak. I'm going to wait until we get this shield nice and firmly on top of him there. And we'll come out of cloak now. Whole bunch more plasma torpedoes are ready to go. R-types are still not quite ready. Cloaking kind of did bring them down a little bit. But we should have, well, most of the control in this engagement. His shields are completely down. We can now start laying into it with any phaser we get our hands on. And we do, of course, need to switch the shield defense over to the port side. Not that we're actually putting any energy into it right now. And he is weakening our shields, but he's not taking them out. We should be able to bore right through that mine. No concern at all, right there. And I'd like to bring my forward shields on. Not the forward shields, but the forward arc, so I can get that R-type plasma, well, both R-type plasma torpedoes to hit him. Hopefully before we get within a range of one, because that's a very painful thing to get hit by. Don't think it's going to happen, because I'm really not willing to let this happen. at point blank range. Phasers blasting out on their own. And we'll start pulling away. We'll have a stern firing plasma torpedo ready to go very shortly. Although a nice G-type plasma torpedo right into the stern, causing a whole bunch of cascade failures throughout the ship. He's still doing a speed of 7.3, but we are going to see if we can't whittle that down a bit. The S-type plasma torpedo is about to come online, and there it goes. Just the 2.5 seconds that it takes for that thing to actually shoot. And this ought to be pretty crippling to him. I can't imagine he's got much armor. Yep, and most of his main systems have gone offline at this point. This will allow us to get our forward weapons on, but we didn't need the plasma torpedoes. We were able to finish them off with phasers only. Increase the speed of time maximum. Because now it's just the boring siege work. So an interesting fight there. The Explorer put up an excellent show. Partially because, you know, we made a few mistakes, but nothing too big. Also, fighting ships like that is a little bit more difficult than fighting a normal BBX because their fighters can be really dangerous. I mean, you saw how quickly they cut through the stern shields, even Hawks. If these things were actually dangerous fighters, things probably would have been a little bit different. It would have been much more painful and much more difficult to do. But we're just going to soar on up here. We'll use a pseudo-torpedo, then we'll snipe out the Wild Weasel that they will inevitably shoot, which will then allow us to follow up with all our plasma torpedoes. We can kill these things in one go. Pretty reliably. So a range of 20, I think we should get closer. Start to slow down though, just for propriety's sake. Also, forward shield, we do need to reinforce that. Reinforce, yep, there goes his shuttle. It only took all of our phasers. That kind of phaser fire is capable of wiping out frigates. Almost. Okay, it takes the stern one to 2 to wipe out frigates, but it does a pretty good job. Now we'll set course for way over here. And we don't need electronic warfare systems anymore. We're done. We're done with that. Forward shield reinforcement can stay though. Pick up the speed a bit. As we have all the time in the world. We'll select the next R-type plasma torpedo in the group, because that will be our next bait. And yeah, by the time things happen, we'll be in range. So plasma torpedo away. There goes the Wild Weasel. Actually heading in our direction to make that firing solution a little bit easier. Wait for the attack ship to go away. And apparently he's putting a lot of energy into that attack ship, but it didn't matter because we've got more than enough firepower to stop him. The Palma is currently skulking around under cloak, trying to get in close, although then again, he's not exactly going to be the most effective ship at this sort of siege work. I mean, the G-type plasma torpedo does have better range than the F-type plasma torpedo, but still. It's he's not exactly super heavily armed for a siege like we are. Speaking of which, we will use all the pseudo-torpedoes just to bait out this last one. That way we can make sure that he'll pay attention, because I don't think the forward R-type torpedo... Oh no, it almost will be. It almost could be ready if we were willing to wait just a little bit longer. We'll still use all the pseudo-torpedoes. Fire all of them. There you go. This ought to freak him out enough. And there it goes. Follow through the shuttle. All phasers are fired. Wait for the attack ship to drop. Excellent. Target completely destroyed. And that is all of the shipyards. Hopefully we'll have actually managed to capture something at this point. We've been fighting over this planet for quite some time, which is to be expected considering how well it's defended. 450 prestige for our troubles. The tile is still not neutral. We've gotten it down to 35, which makes me feel we didn't make a whole heck of a lot of progress since the last time. We will avoid the Anomaly mission. Anomaly mission is, last time we checked, busted. I've got a crash log going that is starting to get up there in length for when it comes to those Anomaly missions. We do need to... no, who cares? Plasma torpedoes to enveloping, electronic warfare systems, not quite ready yet. Who do we see? A single freighter. Is that all? If that's all, I may not bother with the rest of the actual setup. I'll just make sure that we are... Oh, we need this. And reinforce this. Only, please. Thank you. Yeah, not seeing anything else. So this ought to be interesting. We'll just zip on in here and blast it with everything we've got. You could have, like, 2 plasma torpedoes. It's not unheard of. I just don't think it's going to be all that dangerous. And we'll start out. He does have 2 plasma torpedoes. Oh, how lucky are we on guessing that one? So he can deal 40 damage out of his forward shield. He's also picked up quite a bit of speed, so die, please. Yeah. And we bounced it. No challenge there at all. Did anybody think there would be? A single freighter. I don't care how how well it is set up. There is no freighter in this game that can actually challenge us. Like, the best Q ship will have two plasma torpedoes, and that's it. There's just no contest with anything that they are capable of sending our way. Unfortunately, they're going to send us on another shipyard assault, which is, again, one of my most disliked missions. Battle alert, and this time there is a freighter dead ahead of us, as well as a battleship, and you're just a normal BBX. Okay, so this is going to be easy. Unfortunately, we accidentally shut our plasma torpedoes completely offline. That was a mistake. Today we are escorted by the IKV Carnivorous, which is a B-11 super battleship, against a PT-2R, which I think is just 2 missile launchers. Let's find out. We may as well. Increase the speed of time. There's no reason not to, because we have all the time in the universe. 2 and 4 and forward shields to the maximum reinforce and probe away. Hi, what you got? Yeah, an 2 anti-missile defense systems and 2 phaser 3s. Oops, sorry about that. Accidentally hit the mic there. I think I might be able to kill you with phasers alone. I'm going to give it a shot. Because why not? The battleship is way off there and seems to be doing anything except coming our way. And that amount of phaser 3s just is not going to be enough to kill us. It is the USS Tokyo. The last time we saw the Tokyo, I do believe it was a battleship. It was a super battleship that we had attempted to capture. Okay, he's done. On to the BBX. Oh, something I'd totally forgotten. Pseudo frigates. We hadn't used them. Do you think it'll work from this range? Let's try it. Let's see if we can't keep pushing the range further and further out. The BBX a little bit better armed than its BBVX version, although it doesn't have as many fighters and so not quite as dangerous. So will you freak out over that plasma torpedo? Or will you be... You freaked out over the plasma torpedo, okay. We'll launch you in harassment mode to sort of work this from the rear. No reason to get too close. The USS Green has already taken quite a considerable amount of damage. And we're going to follow up pretty soon. Oh no, it didn't. It was just dropping mines, apparently. It started to pick up some speed, so we do need to wait. Make sure that we don't waste these plasma torpedoes. Although apparently he's already outside of the protection, because otherwise they wouldn't have fired at him. So let's see if he survives this bombardment. He probably will, but still, this is pretty impressive. I can't quite read that damage figure, but I think it's only like 169. Was our plasma... Yeah, the plasma torpedoes were set to enveloping. And he is now laying into us pretty considerably. Laying out with all the phasers. We have a stern-firing plasma torpedo, but I'm going to save it. I want to get the range going a bit. Pick up some pace. And lay into him with more phasers. He's not having a good day. All his photon torpedoes have been fired. Wait for us to get outside of our range of 1, and we will be able to continue to engage with a plasma torpedo, just so we don't hurt ourselves. This will wipe out the last of his shield, I hope. Nope, it didn't, but it still did quite a bit of damage to the rest of the ship. We'll continue to blast away with phasers. Well, that went better than expected. Now we can focus on the star docks. Look away from the star dock. It is an IFRD, so it's an ISC station, which will mean it is equipped with plasma torpedoes. Am I right in this? I do believe I am. And according to this data, it is, yep. So it's an ISC shipyard. It is equipped with plasma torpedoes. It is the only, I suppose, good guy faction one that does. No, the Gorn do too. Can't forget about the Gorn, even though Kirk fights them. We're not going to talk about that. So, once again, the standard operation of soaring in, pseudo-torpedo, snipe out the shuttle, blast them with everything you've got. Once that happens, victory will, of course, be ours. Let's call back our pseudo-frigates. We don't want them to get dented. I mean, they do have plasma torpedoes on these stations, so it is possible. Just not super likely. Have you gone well off the deep end? Oh, yes, they did. Both of you get back over here. And then return to me. I just don't want to waste you. I don't want to see you lost for no reason. Pseudo-torpedo cannot fire because it's still on the recharge, but this one can. Wow, a massive barrage already being fired out. There's the shuttle. Took quite a bit of phaser fire to take it down, but that's all right. The phasers will regenerate relatively quickly. There goes one, and on to the next one. This time the forward plasma torpedo will be ready, and we have plenty of energy, so now it's just a matter of waiting the 3 turns to charge our plasma torpedoes, as it often is in this game. I'm convinced that's why the Romulan campaign is lasting so gosh darn long. It's simply because the missions last so long because it takes a long time for our plasma torpedoes to actually be ready to do anything. So basically our missions are fought in tiers of 3. Shoot a torpedo away. And there he goes. Nobody gets away from this. We're going to make sure that... And good night. Because you can't shoot down a plasma torpedo with a defensive plasma torpedo. It just doesn't work that way. Although that does seem a little bit weird when I stop to think about it, because normally you can reduce the amount of firepower the plasma torpedo will deal to you if you shoot at it. And 1 point of energy you fire into it is 1 point of energy taken away from the amount of damage it'll deal. So why can the defensive plasma torpedo not reduce the actual plasma torpedo? I mean, aside from the fact that that would completely neuter plasma torpedoes because of the amount of damage that they do. But still, something worth thinking about. And wait for it, and wait for it. And sniped out, and wait for it, and wait for it, and wait for it. Good night. And another wonderful mission completed, and magically they returned to us. Our pseudo frigates, that is. They decided they weren't going to actually, follow the recall order. They wanted to be Mavericks, stay on their own. They don't need no giant ship. Except they do, because they don't have warp engines. 450 prestige is our reward for that, and the planet still holds. Its Empire defense is down to 20, so soon it will be ours. But that will have to wait for another day. I've been Tyrek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I release one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.